This is where our kids go. This is where Tallahassee kids come to get treatment.
The Children's Miracle Network is getting ready for an event to raise money for North Florida and South Georgia families. Good evening, I'm Abby Maurer.
And I'm Paulo Salazar. Thanks for joining us for the news at 6. In 2013 alone, the organization raised more than $800,000 to help patients from our area get treatments in Gainesville. WTXL ABC 27's Christina Griffiths got to meet some of those families and has their stories.
We're racing?
Grayson Irwin is just a typical 2-year-old. He recently learned to play games on a tablet and the power of the word no.
No.
But there's something about Grayson that isn't so typical.
He's been undergoing chemotherapy for 15 months now.
Grayson was diagnosed with leukemia just around his first birthday. The Irwins spent the first 6 months here at Shands Hospital in Gainesville for treatment. Now, Grayson has to make the trip once a month for treatment, or if he gets a fever or other side effect.
Nothing like driving that much with a little one, but you get used to the same road over and over and over again.
Grayson's family isn't the only one that makes a 2.5-hour drive down the interstate from here in Tallahassee to Gainesville to get their child the care they need.
Basically, he doesn't have an immune system, so he's unable to fight off any sickness that he may receive.
3-week-old Beckham was brought to Shands a few days after his birth when he was diagnosed with SCIDS. And 4-year-old Success was rushed here in an ambulance after getting secondary burns on her neck and back. But these families say their trips are made a little bit easier thanks to the Children's Miracle Network.
Pretty much everything you see in this room, the TVs and the entertainment and all the toys that he plays with, those are all provided by Children's Miracle Network.
It's not a 5-star hotel, but we try to get as close to a combination of that in Disney World as we can.
Guest services specialist Lance Spano says the organization provides books, movies, games, and even this playroom for children being treated at the hospital.
A lot of the improvements in the hospital and the pediatrics for the rooms, the renovations, the fish tank, the toys, all of that is Children's Miracle Network.
And it's those improvements that families say help make their situation a little better.
I feel very fortunate and very lucky to be placed here and have such great care. We know we're in really good hands.
They just showing them a lot of attention and love that they need, you know, when they're going through things like this.
Yeah. In Gainesville, Christina Griffiths, WTXL ABC 27, dedicated to you.
And the Children's Miracle Network in Tallahassee has a fundraising event coming up next weekend called the Belt Buckle Ball. You can join WTXL and Children's Miracle Network hospitals for the 5th annual event. It's Friday, November 7th at the Farm at 4300 North Meridian Road in Tallahassee. There will be lots of food, entertainment, and even a Best Buckle contest. The festivities begin at 6:30, but you can come early for a meet and greet that starts at 5:30 p.m.
Tallahassee police identify the body found on Bluntstown Street near Bicycle Road. 25-year-old Terrell Smith was found yesterday afternoon with an apparent gunshot wound. It happened at around the 2900 block of Bicycle Road after TPD responded to a call in reference to a traffic incident. When officers arrived and they found the abandoned car, they began working the scene. Sometime during the investigation, police located Smith already deceased near the vehicle. Investigators from TPD's Violent Crimes Unit and forensics technicians are investigating the case. If you have any information on this crime, you're asked to call Crime Stoppers at 850-574-8477.
A jury has reached a verdict in the trial of a former Florida A&M University band member charged in the hazing death of drum major Robert Champion. Today, after deliberating for just a short time, the jurors convicted Dante Martin of manslaughter and felony hazing. He could face up to 15 years in prison when he's sentenced. Police say 26-year-old Robert Champion died almost 3 years ago in Orlando after being kicked and punched by fellow band members with fists and band instruments in a hazing ritual known as crossing bus C on a parked bus. 2 former band members testified in court this week that Martin was the ringleader of the hazing. Champion's parents spoke out earlier this week saying they will continue fighting for their son.
We are constantly fighting. There is no plan for me to go anywhere. The only person that has control over that is God himself.
Some others involved in the hazing have pleaded guilty to lesser charges. 3 other former band members await trial.
Two people are arrested in a Halloween operation by Florida Department of Law Enforcement and U.S. Marshals today. Agents arrested 37-year-old Delwyn Chapman for failing to register as a sex offender. 38-year-old Henry Lynn turned himself in on a warrant for failure to update his driver's license. They say Lynn is a violent career offender. Both suspects were booked into the Leon County Jail and will be prosecuted by the state attorney's office, 2nd Judicial Circuit.
Looking at news across Florida now, Florida Governor Rick Scott and his Democratic challenger Charlie Crist are spending the last days of their campaign pushing people to get out to the polls. Crist began today in St. Petersburg at a diner where he used to eat as a child. He stopped by every table and spoke with people, asking if they had already voted. He did not make a speech, rather instead just talked with everyone inside. Scott stopped at a restaurant in a Ponte Vedra Beach strip mall and went to a few tables, but soon grabbed a microphone and started to criticize his opponent, Charlie Crist.
Well, happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween to you, too.
You and Chuck going to be celebrating? Y'all hand out candy? And
handing out the candy. Yeah, I still got to go to the store and get it. I know.
You got to get the good ones, though, Abby.
I do. I always do. Have to get the good candy for the kids.
You told me you spend quite a bit on candy.
We all do, right? And that's what happens on Halloween.
But, and it's going to be a little chilly tonight.
I was going to say chilly for the kids who are heading out. Hopefully they can warm up with some hot cocoa, too, on the trails. Let's check in now with our chief meteorologist, Cass Sinoviners. Cass?
Abby, Paulo, at least we're not going to see 30 degrees tonight. That's the coldest Halloween on record for Tallahassee, but evening temperatures are likely to slip into the 50s, so maybe a warm costume for those staying out late may come in handy. Now, this morning it was kind of cold. It was 42 degrees, and that's just a little taste of what's to come, quite frankly. We did rebound to 76, falling just 2 degrees short of average. Titan radar quiet locally, but there are a couple showers in southeastern Alabama, and that's just in advance of our next front. However, don't be too concerned about these showers. As they move into the tri-state area, they tend to fall apart because they encounter the drier nature of the air around us. So maybe a couple sprinkles along the Chattahoochee or along and west of the Apalachicola River. I don't see a huge local impact from showers, but we will see some of that leftover cloudiness. So that could get in the way for late night plans, but for those heading to your neighborhood fall festival or harvest fest or trunk or treat activities, near 70 within the next half hour, and then we'll start to see more of those clouds as the night progresses towards 8:30, still about 60 degrees. So this will be the mildest next couple of hours before those 50s start to show up. And despite those spotty areas of rain in southern Alabama, I'm going to keep the rain coverage at 0 for the vast majority of us because I just don't think those showers will hold together after sunset and in this very dry air mass. So go out and enjoy your evening, but if you're going out for activities tomorrow, bundle up. I'll tell you why in the Storm Team forecast.
Thanks, Cass. Well, as voters take to the polls, many issues will be decided upon this Tuesday.
One of those issues will be the penny sales tax. Coming up, WTXL ABC 27's Brittany Kleinpeter will break it all down. But first, connect with ABC 27 on our official app. Stay up to date with the latest local news by downloading the app for free at the App Store and Google Play. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. On November 4th, voters will head to the polls, and one important thing they'll have to decide is the penny sales tax.
Over the past 2 years, a group of 18 citizens have been collecting input from thousands of residents to create a consensus plan on the features of the 1-cent sales tax. WTXL ABC 27's Brittany Kleinpeter brings us more on what voters need to know about this tax before going to the polls.
The penny sales tax is designed to improve local roads, reduce traffic congestion, build new sidewalks, reduce neighborhood flooding, and promote job growth in the local community. But one thing voters should be aware of before going to the polls is that this is not a new tax.
The tax that's been in place since 1989, and the voters are going to be asked whether or not they want to extend that tax for another 20 years for our community, to complete projects that have been basically determined by our community that they feel are appropriate for the growth and development of Leon County.
Many are wondering whether the penny sales tax will have good luck at the poll, and if it does, what it'll mean for the community.
The extension of the sales tax can provide a significant amount of economic incentives or boosts for our community. Number one, just by improving our infrastructure in our community, it creates a number of jobs.
The projects that are chosen to use the penny sales tax are based on citizen input and infrastructure needs.
These projects are intended to make Tallahassee and Leon County look better and feel better, which will bring many tourists to our community as well as hopefully new residents to our community.
Brittany Klein-Peter, WTXL, ABC 27, dedicated to you.
Thank you, Brittany. To find out more about the penny sales tax, you can log on to leonpenny.org.
Looking at news across the nation now, one person has been killed and another seriously injured after Virgin Galactic Spaceship 2 crash landed in the Mojave Desert today. Virgin Galactic says the cause was an in-flight anomaly. Virgin Galactic Spaceship 2 crash landed Thursday just after 10 a.m. According to reports, one of the two pilots was killed and the other seriously injured. Virgin Galactic says its partner, Scaled Composites, was conducting a powered test flight when it happened. This is the second accident involving private space flight since Tuesday, when a self-destruct order was given for the Antares rocket in Virginia after something went terribly wrong just 6 seconds after liftoff. The rocket owner, Orbital Sciences, called it a catastrophic anomaly. No one was injured in that explosion.
And you said Chuck texted you?
Yeah, he said, hey, honey, I got the candy.
There you go. You better bring some Reese's back for the 11th.
I know. Let's check it out with our chief meteorologist, Cass Sidoviners. Cass?
Well, for those who are going out to get the candy, it looks fairly decent, but it is going to start to get a little bit colder as we progress into the night and the weekend ahead. We'll talk about the changes in the storm team forecast. The Mapleton Tower cam atop the Doubletree Hotel, it does show a sign that maybe our weather situation should be just fine for trick-or-treating or other Halloween night activities around the area.
Welcome back, everyone. Cass, are you going to be able to take the kids out tonight?
I do believe so. I'm not worried about rain. I'm going to leave my umbrella at the house.
What did they dress up as this year? You're talking about a couple costumes leading up to tonight.
One is a Ninja Turtle, the other is a pirate, and a little baby girl. She was going to be a little lamb, but we bought the outfit a little too small for her.
They grow quick.
Oh,
yes.
They do. So what is she going to be?
You know what? The other half took care of that, and I don't remember what it is, so it may be a little surprise to me, too.
I'm sure she'll be adorable, whatever she's going to be.
No doubt about it. And for those who are taking their youngsters out with their bright festive costumes, whether it's just for a nice little stroll around the neighborhood or maybe heading out with some friends for something a little more spooky, I don't think we have too many concerns when it comes to the weather. There will be a few more clouds. We're seeing them pop up already, especially around the tri-state, so we will go partly cloudy as we go into the night. And our temperatures will drop into the 50s. So if you're exposing a lot of skin, you may not want to do that very late with your costume because winds will pick up, temperatures will continue to plummet, especially after midnight. 73 currently Tallahassee, nice and sunny in Thomasville, at least for the time being, 70 degrees. Valdosta, the same category, 69. And I say temporarily because the sun will be setting before 7 o'clock. Weather watchers in the neighborhood of 70, mostly sunny to entirely sunny. Highs for each of these three in the lower 70s today. Titan radar quiet locally, but it's in southeastern Alabama where we've seen a few of those showers just ahead of the front beginning to form, but as they move closer to the tri-state junction and the Lake Seminole area where the air is quite drier, they start to fizzle out and evaporate. Some leftover moisture in the form of those clouds will scatter through the area and pass through. But the front itself making its way basically through northern Mississippi, northern Alabama, and behind that is where we have a huge push of cold air on the way into the region. It's heading straight for us. So after the clouds go through, if you're out like 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, you will feel a big push of air, those winds picking up from the north, and temperatures will begin to plummet well into the 40s. The sunshine will be back as we go into tomorrow, and that will be everything that we need to get things on an upswing when it comes to temperatures, but it's going to be a fight against that cold, blustery northerly wind. So 54 at 2 a.m., just in case you're out that late. Doesn't sound all that bad, but the winds will increase 10 to 20 miles per hour, and from there, it'll only take about 4 to 5 hours to get temperatures into their low temperature range in the lower 40s. So a big decrease in temperatures thanks to the push of northerly winds coming in, and they will remain gusty tomorrow. Wind gusts could be upwards of 30 miles per hour or more. Sustained winds upwards of 14 to 22 miles per hour or more. Few clouds tonight in the Suwannee River Valley, but you'll wake up to lows in the lower and mid 40s. Highs tomorrow only upper 50s, maybe 60 in Live Oak and South Georgia. Not much warmer, 40 to 43 overnight. Blustery sunshine is what I'll call it, with highs in the upper 50s in Southwest Georgia. You will share in that misery if you think it's miserable to have a cold, windy day, but just be aware. Don't say you weren't warned. It is going to be a very cold weekend. May scare some of you, but maybe not for long, because as we enter next week, temperatures will rebound. But we will have a couple mornings in the upper 30s, maybe some mid 30s too, which may mean you have to keep an eye on those plants. We may have a little bit of frost, especially on Monday morning, before the temperatures soar right back into the upper 70s and near 80 into next week.
And don't forget about your pets during these cold temperatures.
Yeah, if you haven't made plans
guys get cold out there too.
Yeah, they're sensitive to chilly air.
Love those graphics, Cass. Got to give you some compliments.
I know,
on
he
those.
saved them all for today.
Yes.
Looking good. Our sports director Brad Dalton's up next with a look at sports.
Welcome back, everyone. Well, Brad, you weren't kidding when you said FSU typically doesn't play pretty on Thursdays. This one was biting her nails all the way up until the newscast last night.
Yeah, it doesn't always have to be pretty, though, as long as you like the final results. I mean,
a win is a win.
When we look back on this game a year or 2 years ago, all we're going to see is a W next to it, and I think for Florida State fans, that's really all that's important right now.
A huge second-half comeback by Florida State propelled the Noles past Louisville last night, 42-31. It was kind of a coming-of-age moment for three true freshmen that helped FSU extend its school record winning streak to 23 straight games. Running back Dalvin Cook had by far his best game as a Nole. He scored on touchdown runs of 40 and 38 yards. Wideout Travis Rudolph scored on a 68-yard bomb. Erman Lane, he found the end zone on a 47-yard catch. Now, all four of those scores in the second half coming in the second half, helping FSU complete this come-from-behind effort. For Valdosta State, you can now make it 4 wins in a row. The Blazers went on the road last night and took down West Alabama 24-17. VSU was actually outgained on the day, but the Blazers came up with all the big plays when they needed them in order to get the win, keeping their playoff hopes alive. Next week, the Blazers staying on the road with another must-win game as they face UNC Pembroke. It's homecoming at Florida A&M as the Rattlers get ready to host Norfolk State tomorrow afternoon. It's also going to be the first game under interim head coach Corey Fuller. Fuller is taking over for Earl Holmes, who was let go in the middle of this week. Now, it was a decision that ruffled quite a few feathers among players, fans, and even boosters. At the homecoming convocation earlier today, Athletic Director Kellen Winslow has actually met with some boos from the audience. The Rattlers, they're going to look to try and ease some of these tensions if they can pull out a win tomorrow against the Spartans. Also, tomorrow is the annual grudge match between Georgia and Florida over in Jacksonville. Georgia, they will once again be without running back Todd Gurley after a last-minute appeal of his suspension was denied by the NCAA last night. On the other side, Florida seniors are going to be looking for their first win over Georgia in their college careers. Head coach Will Muschamp, he's going to be looking for his first ever win in this entire series. He lost all 4 times to the Gators when he was a player with the Georgia Bulldogs, and he has not beaten Georgia since he becoming the head coach of Florida. High school football will take center stage tonight, and the brightest spotlight, of course, will be in Valdosta. Lowndes and Valdosta meeting in the annual Wintersville Classic. Not only is this the biggest rivalry in our area, a packed house expected at Bazemore Hyder Stadium. It's also going to have huge playoff implications in Georgia Class 6A. Now, there's also a number of big matchups here in Florida that are going to help determine who moves on to the postseason this year. And remember, all of the highlights and scores can be seen on Friday Night Football beginning at 11:15 tonight on WTXL. Tonight, Florida State's soccer team finishes off the regular season as the Noles host the Duke Blue Devils over at the Seminole Soccer Complex. Now, since this is Halloween, fans can take part in a pregame scavenger hunt, and candy is going to be handed out to those in costume. Well, with a win, Florida State will finish off an unbeaten conference season. It's also going to give Florida State at least a share of the ACC regular season title and the #1 seed in the upcoming soccer tournament. The regular season title would be FSU's 3rd in the last 5 years for a program that is certainly making big waves. That's going to do it for your look at sports. We're back right after this.
Welcome back, everyone. Well, that does it for this newscast. Happy Halloween and be safe out there.
We'll see you back here tonight at 11. Good night.